So we have here the NCAA, FBS and FCS scores here for 2024 week 13. So this is the final games here. It is the Pacific time or maybe Mountain Time Zone games here for week 13. That some of them are played at nighttime when it's like 7:30 Mountain Time. They're being started at, and UCLA is still going on the fourth quarter on NBC. It is part of the Big Ten Saturday night package. They had Army Notre Dame at night, so then they decided a West Coast one. Usually the West Coast ones might. Sometimes West Coast games, they've had a few on Fox earlier in the year, a few West Coast, but sometimes they're on FS1, or they'd be on like Big Ten Network. But now this one actually it's at UCLA, it's a big one now. It has two Los Angeles schools in rivalry, or pretty nearby. So it's one of those that they're within driving distance. And they'll be able to go back. Whatever school this was played at, they'd be able to leave the hotel. Or not stay in a hotel, They'd go straight back to probably their dorms. Or their student housing or other. They will. And then we have, that's 11-8, they go on the fourth. UCLA 13-9. And UCLA is in their own 1 yard line. Air Force leading Nevada 15-12 in FS1. Both teams are ineligible for a bowl. It is Nevada's second to last game of the season. They actually played a 13th game as they played week 0. And that allowed them to get an extra game in. A few schools play early in the year, week 0, but then they played an extra 13th game. But they play against UNLV next Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on the CBS Sports Network. And this is just to wrap up their season. Not bowl eligible with the 6 wins. Not going to be regardless. We have Fresno State looking for a bowl eligibility over Colorado State. Colorado State's already clinched the bowl game. They clinched it 2 games ago on the 2nd against Nevada. And then Fresno State wants to be bowl eligible. They don't want to play UCLA. It looks like UCLA's going to win. So it'd be Fresno State, UCLA, a non-conference matchup on Big Ten Network. And that would be winner gets bowl eligibility. And Fresno State does not want to do that. Fight for bowl eligibility then. We had Iowa State, Auburn, number 15 at 6 a.m. Auburn is still 1 game away from bowl eligibility. They won in 4 overtimes. It was 2 overtimes. The first overtime is when you can kick the extra point, starting at 25-yard line in college. And then you get kicked, and then you kick the extra point. They used to have it where you could kick the extra point. Then they had it after I think it was so many overtimes, you had to go for 2. And then it kept going 25-yard line. It was on the 25-yard line. And they just did 25-yard line possessions. Both teams got the ball for unlimited overtimes, but you had to go for 2. And then they eliminated that and then they started eliminating that, shorten the game up a little bit, to where you still have it, but in the second overtime you have to go for 2. And now it's the third overtime, and on it's just 2-point conversions. Which, sometimes I've seen the games go really, really long. There was one game that was 7 overtimes with 70 point. I think it was LSU Texas A&M or something. That went 70 point points because all the overtimes and all that stuff. I think that's the game that made him short it. But either way, Texas A&M is pretty much eliminated from the playoffs, from the playoff now, with a loss. The only thing that can do for them is maybe get a win over Texas. Maybe, but I don't know, I think they're hurt. We have number 22 Iowa State beat Utah. Iowa State salvages maybe any hope. I don't know if they have hope for a college football playoff berth. But I mean, they are in contention for the Big 12 title though, with Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, Colorado. 4 teams at 6-2 in the top of the conference. So you do have a kind of huge shakeup. So Iowa State's still in it for the college football playoff, actually, if they can win. But I don't know if any team in the Big 12 is really going to get in. Any team in the Big 12 is really not going to get in. They're just going to have to get in as an at-large. The Big 12 team is. So we'll see, though. It's going to be the conference champion. I don't think there's going to be an at-large. Marshall. It was going to be BYU. And then maybe you had like Kansas State or something like that, but Kansas State's not in. You thought it was going to be Colorado. It's not Colorado anymore. No. It'll maybe be that. But Corral could have been the team that was in the top 12 fair and square, but no, it's not BYU. It might be Arizona. It's either Arizona State or Iowa State. Those would be the two hopes for the Big 12 right now. And then we got Marshall and Old Dominion. Marshall beat Old Dominion 42-35, and Old Dominion knocks off Marshall. Or Marshall knocks off Old Dominion, excuse me. Why did I say Old Dominion knocks off Marshall? I meant Marshall knocks off Old Dominion. And Old Dominion's like bowl eligibility. LSU beats Vanderbilt. It was just for a better bowl game. Both teams are more bowl eligible. But LSU is having a little bit of struggle season. But Vanderbilt. And then you got two teams there having the best what they expected seasons. Oklahoma and LSU. Vanderbilt though. I don't think Vanderbilt. When's the last time Vanderbilt actually made it to a bowl though? Any sort of bowl game. 2018. So yeah, Vanderbilt. So it's not a bad season for Vanderbilt. I mean, but in terms, if you're a Vanderbilt fan or a Vanderbilt school or something, that it's actually a good season for you. But then Virginia Tech falls and still has a chance for bowl eligibility. But they have to do it on ACC network, on the ACC network against their rival Virginia Tech on ACC network Saturday night primetime at 8 Eastern. And it's a rivalry game. Trophy on the line. Want to beat your rival. And bowl eligibility on the line. You get it. Not take the trophy, beat your rival, and not your rival. Bowl eligibility if you win. And you get bowl eligibility with a win. Like high stakes. Virginia Tech. But Duke wins 31-28. And Kansas State knocks off Cincinnati 41-15. Cincinnati is going to have to beat TCU for bowl eligibility. either maybe on Fox, FS1 or ESPN2. So we'll see how that goes. There are a few games not decided. I mean, Rutgers, Michigan State's on FS1. You've seen Air Force, San Diego State on FS1. That's probably a 9:30 game. So you got Air Force West. And then you got Florida State. That's an ESPN2. But there's 2 games still have to be said on ESPN. You got Houston, BYU, and ESPN. So you got Purdue, Oregon, Indiana, which is going to Big Ten Network. Washington, Oregon is, or Notre Dame, USC is on CBS. And then you have one of them 2 are going to NBC, one's going to CBS. And then they were saying which games, one of the 2 games that CBS is going to have. And you have Purdue, Indiana on Big Ten Network, which is obviously it's because it's a very lopsided game. Then you have Houston, BYU, which was on ESPN. Arizona State is going probably to ESPN 2. I would assume, since there's a game in ESPN 2. It kind of depends on what Fox game is. I would assume ESPN would want Arizona State. They might give up like Kansas State, Iowa State. Maybe they might give up that game if they can get Arizona State in the cap. And then Pittsburgh, Boston College won CW North. I thought that was an ESPN 2 game. Maybe like an ESPN 2 night cap. Or maybe early, like noon Eastern, or if Florida State's noon Eastern, it might be Boston College at like night cap on ESPN 2, but no, that's the CW game. So, CW Network, ACC game. So, yeah, might be Kansas State, Iowa State. I don't think Kansas State, Iowa State would be on ESPN 2. I don't think so. So probably Kansas State, Iowa State on ESPN, or on probably Fox. Actually, probably Fox. Kansas, it's either going to be West Virginia, Texas Tech might be on Fox 2. Although it could be on ESPN 2. I could see West Virginia, Texas Tech being ESPN 2. And then you got Kansas, Baylor, and TCU, Cincinnati. And you got West Virginia, Texas Tech. One of those 3 are on ESPN 2. One of those on Fox. And one of those is on FS1. Although you don't. And then probably Kansas State, Iowa State will probably on Fox. At probably nightcap. And then you got and then you got, what was it? Kansas State, Baylor. I don't know. Pretty interesting though. Because one of those will be on FS1 if Air Force San Diego State's at the night cap, which it could be. I mean, it could also be where Arizona State, Fox wants, FS1 wants that. Although, and then they put Air Force San Diego State in. But I don't think that would be. I think ESPN 2 would take Arizona State nightcap if they want FBS. If they would choose to show it, if that thing happens. I mean, it could be where Arizona State, Arizona. But I think the only reason Arizona State, Arizona would be on a televised network, like ESPN 2 or Fox, or like some sort of televised network, would be because of the Big 12 title race. They're in the actual. They have all the tiebreakers. They have the tiebreakers out of BYU, Arizona, Iowa State, and Colorado, the 3-way tiebreakers. So, I think that would be ESPN 2. Kansas State, Iowa State would be Fox. I'm assuming. I mean, West Virginia, Texas Tech could be ESPN 2 nightcap, like sometimes they have with the Big well, like they did this week. It could be West Virginia, Texas Tech. And then you could have Kansas, Baylor, or TCU, Cincinnati, whichever they prefer, on Fox or FS1. It could honestly be either or. So, and the winner, so I would think though ESPN would take the better. So of the three, ESPN 2 would. So of those three, and then they would go Kansas State, just so they can have Arizona State, because FS1 could probably use Air Force San Diego State as their nightcap. Honestly, they use them on West as like the 10:30 Eastern nightcap. So, and then we have FCS games. We had one more, and we had Lamar beat McNeese 26-24 to wrap up the season. And tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern is the FCS Selection Committee releasing the bracket. Well, it's ESPNU. On ESPNU, they're releasing the bracket. And then they're going to have that, and they're going to have like the selection committee talk, like, there's some, so why wasn't this team picked? Why was this team picked over this team? Why was this team in, or why was this team not in? And then they're going to have the first round. I may do some whip around in the FCS playoffs, if I can, along with Division 2. We have the Division 2 second round. We have the final 16 in Division 2. And then we have Division 3, the second round, the final 32 in Division 2. I wish I would whip around with them. Whip around with Division 2 and FCS. I will not do FBS whip around. However, I will not, because the FCS playoffs are more. Then when it's round of 16, the third round, in Division 3, then it's the round of 8, the quarterfinals, and FCS second round. I'll do some whip around in that as well. Although, let's see if there's on the 8th. Is there any room time? The 7th it is.
Plan C, Martin's got to be a 2-stop. We're looking at 2 today. If Checo couldn't make it past lap 17 on the hards, and I think we're looking at a solid 2-stop today, but we'll see. Sorry, back to you.
Well, so what Carlos Sainz is saying there, as he's defending, as Leclerc was defending against Lewis Hamilton, is, well, if we're going to 2-stop, I'm going to go a lot faster. I'm going to take all the life out of these tyres. I don't want to bring these tyres in with some life left in them. We're going to 2-stop anyway. And that's what they're coming back to him on, in terms of how these hard compounds, and they've got to work it out in the race. He's got no other information.
So Alex Albon in the Williams behind Fernando Alonso. Not for long though. Down the inside he goes. Another move at the end of the boulevard. Lewis Hamilton now right on the tail of Charles Leclerc, right within DRS range as well.
And that puts Albon and Williams in the points. My goodness, they'd have a couple of points today, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they certainly would. Williams in the championship, down in 9th place at the moment, but a long way behind RB and Haas and Alpine, who have been steadily picking up points. Fernando Alonso for Aston Martin, who've been steadily going pointless for race to race for some time. Well, they're currently in 5th place. Fernando Alonso's currently in the points, but you wonder for how much longer, as Hulkenberg seems to have better pace.
And Norris, of course, 4 places behind Verstappen. He needs to be ahead of him if he wants to keep this championship alive with